This is the Embodied Performance Podcast, episode 26. I'm Nick Markey, Beach Barbell, Physical Therapy, Performance and Strength Training, and very soon be new gym. Check beachbarbell.com for details. So today we're going to talk about why do you do it? Sort of a motivational question. What meaning do you find in the things that you do? So why do you do it? So, for instance, for me, physical therapy, rehab, recovery, that kind of thing, I do it because I like to be able to just personally do whatever I want to do. And that would mean I would need to know how to deal with injury and pain because those are often inevitable in life. And I like to keep things simple, straightforward, as little BS or if any is possible. So from a physical therapy standpoint, I like to impart that to people. When they get an injury, I'm not going to waffle around a million different things, just straight to the point, and whatever that person is trying to do or get back to, I just focus on that. That doesn't mean that there are, little things here and there that can be helpful for people, but on the whole, it's kind of that old saying, knowing what to do is generally easy, but doing it is hard. Oftentimes I see people kind of getting stuck in just focusing on little things that aren't really contributing to their big thing, or maybe they hear a lot of different stuff and they can't make heads or tails because there's so much stuff that it gets overwhelming, and basically it's kind of like a paralysis by analysis type thing where if you see a bunch of things, you don't know what to do. So I like to simplify it, make it straightforward to whatever the goals are for that person, whatever the activity or thing that they're trying to do is, whatever the problem is, we just directly work on that and little by little make progress until they don't need me anymore. I think that ties in hand to hand with what I'm trying to do with the new gym, from the performance and strength training angle. Again, I want to be able to do whatever I want to do. I want the option that I can, if I want to go play some sports with some people, I want to have my body prepared for that. If I want to run around with my kids, I want to be prepared for that. When I'm 80 or 90 years old, hopefully I make it that long. I want to hopefully not have to rely on, assisted devices or equipment. And I want to be able to just get up and go and drive and hike and walk and lift weights and generally just do whatever I want. So for me, applying, some modicum of training, strength training and mobility will be the best way to ensure that I have the greatest chance of living that kind of life. So that's generally the meaning behind why I do what I do, and why I want to impart that onto people is because I think, again, sometimes in the fitness industry, it can seem like you have to crush yourself or do all these crazy things. And then oftentimes people will fizzle out from that kind of mentality, more of a short-term mentality, as opposed to kind of applying long-term gradual training, and then reaping the rewards from that. And, maybe it's slower, it seems slower, or maybe it doesn't seem like you're doing as much at a time, but with the consistent discipline, since, the science is pretty clear, it's the consistency over months and years that you're going to get, the benefit. And then plus you will probably, if you're kind of running that way, maybe more smart programming, you can perhaps mitigate potential down effects, of injuries and whatnot, and you'll be able to perhaps adjust a little bit easier. So basically, why do you do the thing you do? And applies to any sort of profession. Obviously, there's the external. You want to make a living. That's important. Feed your family, pay the mortgage, all that, pay the rent, whatever. You want to sock some money away, for long term, that kind of thing. So, and then probably, ideally, you have some sort of good feeling about what you do. Hopefully you like what you do, and you see the value in it, so you want to provide that value to others. So you make a living, and at the same time, you're also providing good value to other people. Then that kind of gets to more of a deeper meaning. Why do you want to provide value to other people? Well, there's lots of things. We want to seem competent, in society. We want to seem like we are pulling our own weight. We are providing something to the community. Because that we are ultimately very tribal animals. So we want to be seen as someone who is worthwhile and provides value to the community, and not a burden on the community. Generally, that's where most people don't want to feel that way, a burden on the community or a family or anything like that. We generally don't want to feel that we are scummy or scammy, like con artist or anything like that. So we want to make sure the thing that we do actually does provide that value to others while we are making a living off of it. So yeah, I think that's kind of the getting down to the deeper why of what we do. Kind of from that external to internal reasoning. So, if you haven't thought about that, it's not a bad idea to kind of reaffirm that from time to time, to see, are you doing the thing that, just even makes you happy? Is the work you do interesting? I find the physical therapy and training and providing that to people is very interesting to me. So I actually get to enjoy my job. I don't wake up dreading it. So first off, if that's you, if you're waking up dreading your job, I think that's it should be a wake up call to look at ways of improving your skills or looking at different things to do, because you're going to spend a good chunk of your day and life doing your job. So you should find something that you actually enjoy and don't dread. And then looking down to the deeper why of the value that you can provide, and see if, that could help drive you to, maybe improving, how you operate in that job, because you'll have more, intrinsic motivation, because you will feel that you're actually providing value to the community and not a burden on it and not scamming people. So yeah, I think that's, again, not a bad thing to dip into from time to time, to kind of think about the things we do and why we do them, from, external to internal reasoning. And, same thing with, if you're, interested in starting an exercise program, kind of drilling down to the why. There's obviously the health benefits and whatnot. I also find that doing the exercise itself, the process, there's something intrinsically rewarding about that. Just kind of like you are spending time to better develop yourself and from like, that physical and mental edge. But, this also applies to people that like to hone a craft or a skill, or like to do some sort of, maybe personal development reading or things of that nature. So I think drilling down all these whys, continue with the exercise. Yeah. So, you want to be healthy. Obviously everyone tells you you're supposed to be healthy and exercise. So that's great. But then why, well, I don't want to be, I want to keep up with, my family. I don't want to be the one that's lagging behind, and then I don't want to be seen as a burden on my family. Kind of personal inner why of why you'd want to exercise and stay in shape. You want to keep up. You don't want to be seen as a burden. And then when you're older, you hopefully want to be able to take care of yourself and not have to rely on your family as much. Again, that not being a burden kind of feeling. And I have that a lot too. I don't want to be a burden on my family. So that's a big inner why for why I want to stay healthy and in shape for the long run, and, not crush myself so that I, can't do things, but, put in the little bit of work, over time to build up steadily over time, or stay, strong over time. So moral of the story, more of the podcast today is, find your inner why, go from external down to internal, really drill down to the reasons why you do the things you do. And that could be helpful for finding some motivation when it can be hard. Obviously we've talked about before about also relying on the discipline, just having a routine and sticking to it, and lots of different strategies in regards to that. So we'll keep that for today. Thanks for listening. Like and share, pass along if you find it valuable. Again, I'm Nick Markey of Beach Barbell Physical Therapy and Performance and Strength Training, Wilmington, North Carolina. Soon to be gym. Check out beachbarbell.com for any details if you're interested. Bye.